Every morning, before the sun rises over Rome, before his generals are awake, before his advisors fill his halls, before the weight of an entire empire lands on his shoulders, Marcus Aurelius sits alone in the dark and goes to war. Not with his enemies. Not with barbarians at the border. With himself. And here's what nobody tells you about that. The most powerful man on earth had to fight every single morning just to get out of bed. Just like you. The difference is what he did next. Most people wake up and immediately reach for their phone. Before their eyes are even fully open, the scrolling starts. Other people's lives. Other people's opinions. Other people's noise, flooding your mind before you've had a single thought of your own. By the time you're fully awake, your mind already belongs to someone else. Marcus Aurelius knew this trap existed, not with phones, but with people. Advisors wanting answers. Citizens wanting justice. Senators wanting power. Everyone pulling at him from the moment he opened his eyes. So he built a wall. Every single morning. Before any of it could reach him. This is what that wall looked like. The first thing he did. He expected the day to be hard. Open Meditations and the very first lines of Book 2 will stop you cold. Marcus wrote to himself every morning something like this: today you will meet ungrateful people, dishonest people, jealous people, cruel people. He wasn't being pessimistic. He was being surgical. Because here's what negative visualization actually does, and the Stoics used this every single day: when you expect difficulty, difficulty loses its power to surprise you. When you've already imagined the frustrating meeting, the person who lets you down, the plan that falls apart, none of it can knock you off balance when it actually arrives. You've already been there. In your mind. Before breakfast. Most people wake up expecting a good day and fall apart the moment something goes wrong. Marcus woke up expecting the world to be exactly what it is, and stayed standing all day because of it. The second thing he did. He reminded himself what he was. Not emperor. Not general. Not God. A man. With a body that would decay. With a name that would eventually be forgotten. With a life measured not in titles but in choices. Every morning Marcus stripped away everything the world had given him, and asked one question of the man underneath: am I living according to my nature? Am I doing what a rational, disciplined, compassionate human being would do today? Not, am I being a great emperor? Not, will people respect me today? Just, am I being a good man? This matters more than it sounds, because when your identity is built on your title, your following, your reputation, the day those things shake, you shake with them. Marcus built his identity on something nobody could ever take from him. His own choices. His own character. His own daily effort to be better than he was yesterday. That's a foundation nothing can crack. The third thing he did. He read before the world could speak to him. Marcus was a student his entire life. Not because he had to be. Because he understood something most people never learn: your mind is either being shaped by you or by everything around you. There is no third option. So every morning before the noise arrived, he fed his mind intentionally. Philosophy. History. The words of people who had thought deeply about how to live. He was filling himself up before the world could empty him out. Think about what you feed your mind first thing in the morning. A notification, an argument in the comments, someone else's highlight reel. That is what your mind is being shaped by. That is what you're carrying into your day, before you've even had a single intentional thought. Marcus chose differently. Every morning. Without exception. Now here's the part nobody talks about: Marcus Aurelius failed at this constantly. Meditations isn't a record of his achievements, It's a record of his daily struggle to be the man he wanted to be. He writes about his anger, his impatience, his frustration with people, his temptation to quit, to give up, to stop caring. He failed often, but he came back to the wall every morning and built it again. That is the actual practice. Not perfection. Not becoming some calm, untouchable monk who feels nothing. Just coming back. Every morning. Doing the three things again. Expecting difficulty. Remembering who you are underneath everything the world calls you. Feeding your mind before the world can reach it. That's it. That's the whole routine. So here's what this looks like for you, starting tomorrow morning. Before you touch your phone, give yourself 10 minutes. Just 10. Spend the first 3 minutes writing down one difficulty you're likely to face today. Not to dread it. To defuse it. See it clearly before it arrives. Spend the next 3 minutes writing one sentence about who you actually want to be today. Not what you want to achieve. Who you want to be. Spend the last 4 minutes reading something that was written to make you think, not just feel. A page of Meditations. A letter from Seneca. One chapter of anything written by someone who was trying to understand life, not just live it. 10 minutes. Before the world reaches you. That's the wall. Marcus Aurelius had every excuse to skip the practice. He was running the known world. He was fighting wars on multiple fronts. He was dealing with a plague, a crumbling economy, treacherous senators. And he still showed up every morning, alone, in the dark, and did the work on himself first. You have 10 minutes. The question isn't whether you have time for this. The question is whether you think your mind is worth 10 minutes before you hand it to the world. Marcus Aurelius thought his was. If this hit different, you already know what to do. Subscribe and come back next week. There's a lot more where this came from.